Hey, this is your no-nonsense recap for ReZero Season 1. If you want a full recap of Season 2, check it out in the cards in the top right or in the description below. And since I'm a partner with GamerSupps, use code CTACTICS to get 10% off all orders site-wide. And I highly suggest you at least order some free samples, as Katakawa is notorious for striking ReZero content creators on YouTube. So to help me out in the long term, order some free samples, leave a like, and subscribe, as I will be covering ReZero Season 3 weekly. On a routine trip home from the convenience store, Subaru Natsuki suddenly finds himself whisked away to a bustling marketplace in a fantastical world. After a brief chat with a friendly fruit vendor, Subaru's adventure takes a dark turn when he's cornered by a trio of thugs in a grim alley. Just as things seem dire, a half-elf girl swoops in to save the day. She introduces herself as Satella and her loyal companion, Puck, after learning Subaru's utterly clueless about his world's lore, geography, and language. Determined to return the favor, Subaru sets out on a quest to retrieve Satella's stolen insignia from a thief named Felt. They head to a dingy loot house only to find that it's too late. Felt is dead. And, well, so are they in a tragic twist. Subaru's special ability, Returned by Death, kicks in and catapults him back to his earlier encounter with the vendor, his mind still foggy about his new power. Undeterred, Subaru ventures out again to the loot house. This time he encounters Felt and Rom, negotiating for the precious insignia. Just as hope seems within reach, the sinister Elsa, the very killer from his previous death, makes a dramatic entrance. Subaru, ever resourceful, offers his cell phone, with its 2-megapixel camera, as a bargaining trip. But alas, Elsa strikes again, leaving everyone dead. Subaru respawns yet again, greeted by Satella in the street, only for her to be deeply offended by his use of her name, Satella, due to its ominous association with the dreaded Jealous Witch. And so begins Subaru's surreal journey in this mysterious world where every death is just a new beginning. Stung by being mistaken for the infamous Jealous Witch, Satella storms off, leaving Subaru in a bind. Undeterred, Subaru's attempt to keep the insignia from being snatched falls short, and he meets a grim fate once more, this time at the hands of the hoodlums in the alley while in hot pursuit of Felt. When Subaru respawns, the fog of confusion lifts as he finally grasps his Return by Death ability. With a fresh strategy in mind, he decides to sidestep Satella and focus on securing the insignia directly from Felt before Elsa can get involved. His plan takes a turn for the better when Reinhard von Austria swoops in to save him from the thugs, and Subaru seizes the opportunity to ask Reinhard to keep Satella away from the loot house. As Subaru makes his way to the loot house, he unexpectedly crosses paths with Elsa, who is intrigued by Subaru's peculiar behavior. Determined to stay one step ahead, Subaru later approaches Felt and shares Rom's evaluation of the phone's worth from the previous timeline. Although Rom confirms its value, Felt remains hesitant, demanding to hear Elsa's offer first due to Subaru's suspicious antics. And just when Subaru is on edge, fearing Elsa's imminent arrival, the doorbell rings. To his shock, it's not Elsa, but Satella herself, the very person he thought was advised not to visit the house. The plot thickens as you'd expect. Subaru's plans take another unexpected twist. Just as the tension peaks with Satella's arrival, Elsa bursts onto the scene and wreaks havoc. But fear not, Satella and Puck team up, unleashing a dazzling display of ice magic. Yet, as night falls, Puck's power wanes, forcing him to retreat into his mana crystal. With the tide turning, Felt is ordered to escape. Rom is gravely injured, and Satella grows weary from the relentless battle. Enter Reinhard von Austria, the cavalry everyone had been waiting for. With his sword gleaming, Reinhard confronts Elsa, who reveals her sinister title as a Bowel Hunter. Using his formidable von Austria sword technique, Reinhard manages to overpower Elsa, but she's not out for the count just yet. As Elsa turns her rage towards Satella, Subaru, in a heroic bid, intercepts her strike with Rom's club. taking the blow meant for Satella. And in a poignant moment of gratitude, Satella, now revealed as Amelia, thanks Subaru just before he collapses from his wounds. With Elsa retreating into the shadows, Felt, moved by the chaos, returns the stolen insignia to Amelia. Reinhard, initially prepared to let Felt go, changes his stance upon seeing the insignia's gleam and decides to bring her in, citing her crime despite his off-duty status. He leaves Amelia with a chilling prophecy. Her peaceful life may soon be shattered, hinting that her summons could be on the horizon. Subaru wakes up at Roswell L. Mather's mansion, fully healed and with a startling realization. Amelia was his savior. As he explores the grand halls, he stumbles upon Beatrice in the library, but she drains his mana, causing him to collapse. He regains consciousness in his room, surrounded by the maid twins, Ram and Rim. After reuniting with Amelia and Puck, Subaru meets Roswell, who reveals that Amelia needs the insignia to secure her candidacy in the royal election. In exchange, Subaru requests a position as a butler at the mansion. Diving into his new role, Subaru wrestles with the demanding duties of a butler, struggling through his initial days. A village outing with Ram and Rim sees him playing with children and a mischievous puppy that bites his hand. That evening, though, Subaru invites Amelia on a date to the village and she graciously agrees. However, Subaru's joy is, short-lived. The next morning, he awakens back at the mansion's first day with Ram and Rim's greetings and his hand miraculously healed. The shocking truth dawns upon him. He must have died last night. Subaru finds himself once again introduced to the enigmatic Rim and the composed Ram. Determined to uncover the cause of his mysterious death, he embarks on a quest to replicate the timeline of his previous life. His efforts yield only partial success, disrupted by unforeseen events, such as Ram's unexpected instruction in reading and writing. Amidst his daily duties, Subaru's growing bond with Ram seems to stir a storm in Rim, who reveals her unwavering, almost fanatical loyalty to her sister. As Subaru navigates his new reality, he finds solace in Amelia's company, who helps him master the art of reading and writing. With newfound confidence, Subaru invites Amelia on a date, revisiting the village, the playful children, and the vibrant flower fields. However, Subaru's introspection is cut short when he struggles to stay awake, wrestling with the changes and corrections he's made in his new timeline. His efforts to stay vigilant are in vain, though, as he succumbs to exhaustion. In the dead of night, a sinister force strikes, leaving Subaru fatally wounded and his fate hanging in the balance. Subaru wakes up yet again, fully healed and ready to face the ticking clock. With a mere 4 days before danger strikes anew, he opts to stay as a guest in Roswell's mansion, keen to gather intel. He turns to Beatrice, who's got the lowdown on magical threats, and learns that while curses are unlikely, mana draining is a plausible culprit, and only a select few in the mansion could be behind it. She also reveals that she was the one who healed him on his arrival, and in a deep chat with Ram, Subaru recounts a folktale about a blue demon who sacrificed his reputation for his red demon friend. Ram dismisses the story's heroes as fools, leading to a spirited debate about its meaning. Subaru also shares insights from his folktale books about legendary dragons, kingdoms, and the enigmatic jealous witch, a topic Ram refuses to touch. She warns him, though, to not discuss the demon story with Rim. On the 4th day, Subaru decides to keep a watchful eye from a cliff overlooking the mansion. As the sun dips below the horizon, he's suddenly attacked by a spiked ball and chain. He deftly dodges the first 2 blows and grabs the chain, only to be stunned when he realizes his attacker is a Rim? Subaru, caught in a nightmare of suspension and fear, finds himself at the mercy of Rim, who believes he harbors dark intentions and reeks of witchcraft. Just as her interrogation reaches a fever pitch, merciful end to Rim's torment, resetting once more in the mansion. Subaru faces Ram and Rim again, but this time with a deeper dread. He tries to reveal his return by death to Amelia, but a sinister black shadow interrupts him, casting a chilling veil over the conversation. A few days later, Beatrice, sensing the same ominous witchy aura, agrees to ensure Subaru's safety for one more night. Though he survives, the following morning brings the devastating news. Rim is dead, and Ram is left heartbroken. Ram, convinced of Subaru's guilt, turns hostile, but Beatrice's protective contract holds firm. Subaru, desperate and feeling responsible, flees to a cliff where Beatrice informs him of a missing maid and offers an escape. As Ram arrives, vowing to kill him, Subaru, consumed by guilt and driven by a determination to save everyone, leaps off the cliff, declaring his resolve to make things right. Subaru, as if his life is an N64, hits the reset button once again, returning to the mansion's starting line. With a renewed sense of purpose, he once more asks to work as a butler, focusing on gaining the trust of the maid twins. Taking a break from his rigorous duties, he turns to Puck for magical training, hoping to confront the mysterious force lurking behind the scenes. Puck uncovers that Subaru's mana attribute is Shadow, a clue with potentially grave implications. Subaru delves into the chilling legend of the jealous witch Satella and pieces together that Amelia's early actions might have been a ploy to withdraw from the royal election. Struggling to master magic, Subaru pushes himself to the limit, finding respite only in Amelia's lap as he finally breaks down and lets his emotions flow. Later that night, Subaru learns from Beatrice that curses need physical contact to activate, leading him to an exhilarating realization. The curse must be coming from the village. Energized by this insight, Subaru convinces the twins to join him on a journey to the village the next day, ready to tackle the mystery head on. Subaru, Ram, and Rim venture to the village with a mission to uncover the truth. Mysterious puppy bites Subaru once more, but this time Roswell's unexpected departure that evening hints at a shift in fate. Beatrice reveals Subaru's curse and traces it back to the dog bite, igniting Subaru's realization that the children are in peril. Rushing back to the village, Subaru and Rim find the children gone. Their search leads them into the forest where they discover the missing kids, all afflicted by the cursed puppy. While Rim heals the children, Subaru's acute awareness of the witch stench comes to light. He heads deeper into the forest, only to face a terrifying maw beast. Subaru eventually triumphs over the beast, but finds himself ensnared by a pack of maw beasts controlled by the demon puppy. Rim arrives, battling fiercely to clear a path, but her power surges uncontrollably. As Rim faces imminent death, Subaru heroically steps in to take the blow, his bravery shining through as he defends her against the monstrous threat. Subaru, waking to a new day thanks to Amelia and Ram's timely rescue, finds himself grappling with a tangled web of curses from the puppy's bites. The village barrier is back in place, but the curses remain a looming threat, and Beatrice is struggling to lift them all before they take effect. Armed with a sword provided by the villagers, Subaru teams up with Ram to venture into the forest. Their mission: to slay the cursed puppy, lift Subaru's curses, and locate the berserk Rim. Ram reveals her limitations, lacking the demon horn that gives Rim her power, making her less formidable in battle. Now determined to turn the tide, Subaru draws the maw beast's attention by revealing the truth of his return by death. As Subaru and Ram fall down a cliff, they're confronted by both a relentless pack of maw beasts and a rampaging Rim. With Ram's strategic insights, however, Subaru hatches a plan to strike Rim's horn and restore her sanity, hoping to end their harrowing ordeal. In a gripping flashback, we uncover the poignant past of Ram and Rim. Born in a demon village where twins are a forbidden omen, Ram, a prodigy, excelled while Rim struggled. Their world was shattered, however, when the witch cult severed Ram's horn, leaving Rim with a lifetime of guilt. Fast forward to the present, Rim regains her senses thanks to Subaru's heroic act. As they make their escape from the relentless maw beasts, they confront the villainous puppy shaman behind the chaos. Subaru faces the shaman, now a monstrous beast, with unyielding bravery. His broken sword falters, just as he faces doom, Roswell swoops in to vanquish the shaman and the remaining maw beasts, lifting the curses plaguing Subaru. Back at the mansion, Subaru awakens to find Rim by his side. With words of encouragement, he urges her to embrace the future and release the burdens of her past. His compassion touches Rim deeply, sparking a newfound affection. That night, Subaru invites Amelia to a date in the village the next day, and she graciously accepts. A month after the Ma Beast drama, Subaru and Amelia are joyfully mingling with the Arlem Village kids, savoring a blissful morning. But their tranquility is soon interrupted. Amelia is summoned to the capital for the royal election, with Wilhelm von Astrea and Felix Argyle as their escorts. The journey to the capital is underway. Once there, Subaru indulges in a touch of gratitude, purchasing a bag of apples from a familiar fruit vendor. But the day takes an intriguing twist when Subaru sees Julius Juculius in a chivalrous display kissing Amelia's hand, sparking a tinge of jealousy in Subaru. The plot thickens when Subaru spots Priscilla Bariel, a striking redhead, being pursued by the same hoodlums who encountered before. Jumping into action to save her, Subaru is relieved to see Rom, who's looking for Felt. The hoodlums flee, and Subaru learns that Reinhard has taken Felt. Though Amelia urges Subaru to stay away from the royal election, he disregards her plea. He accepts a ride in Priscilla's carriage, taking on the role of her apple-serving manservant, probably fitting. Arriving at the castle, Amelia is shocked to find Subaru with Priscilla, who proudly claims him as her servant. As the royal candidates, including Priscilla, Anastasia Hoshin, and Krush Karsten, gather, Reinhard stuns everyone by introducing Felt as the final, unexpected candidate. The stage is set for, let's just say, drama. The royal election scene quickly descends into chaos. The nobles are shocked to learn that Felt, a slum dweller, has been thrust into the limelight. The tension between the candidates and the Imperial Knights mounts as Felt's defiance stirs the pot. Amelia's half-elf heritage becomes a point of contention, however, prompting Subaru to declare himself her knight. Unfortunately, his noble proclamation backfires, offending both the Imperial Knights and Julius. Rom's desperate attempt to rescue Felt from the throne room is thwarted, leading Felt to reluctantly agree to join the royal race, promising to upheave the nation if victorious. In a fiery duel, Julius challenges Subaru, who faces a brutal thrashing for his earlier insult. When Subaru awakens, Amelia insists he stay in the capital to recover while she returns to the mansion with Roswell. In a confrontation that reveals Subaru's deep unspoken anguish, Amelia accuses him of self-serving motives, casting doubt on his true intentions. Subaru's sanity falters under the pressure, and in a desperate outburst, he accuses Amelia of being unworthy and of owing him much more than he owes her. Their communication eventually breaks down, and Amelia, unable to reconcile their differences, decides to end their friendship, leaving Subaru to grapple with the painful fallout of their fractured bond, and now he's maidenless. 3 days after the royal candidate selection, Subaru and Rem are staying at the Karsten mansion to recover. Subaru, burning with frustration at his lack of progress, and trains tirelessly with Wilhelm, yet his improvements are minimal. Reinhard shows up to offer an apology and urge a reconciliation with Julius, but Subaru remains steadfast in his refusal. In town, Subaru and Rem bump into the apple vendor again, who bleakly remarks that Amelia's connection to the jealous witch is a significant barrier to her success in the royal election. That night, Krush advises Subaru to stay positive, while Felix, either a cat boy or a cat girl, we don't know, suggests he should make amends with Amelia. Rem, sensing trouble back at Roswell's mansion through her link with Rom, decides to act. Subaru, determined to return, hires a cart driver named Otto Suin. However, Otto's ground dragon balks at continuing their journey, forcing Subaru to set out on foot. As dawn breaks, Subaru reaches Arlem Village, only to find it ravaged and strewn with dead bodies. Racing to the mansion, he is heartbroken to discover Rem's body, left lifeless amid the devastation. Subaru is thrust into a grim scene upon entering the mansion, where the bodies of Ram, the children he once saved, and others lie in a tragic display. Overwhelmed, he finds an icy room and succumbs to the cold, only to reset to a new timeline back at the vendor's stall. Here he collapses into Rem's arm, rendered catatonic by grief. Despite Krush and Felix's attempts to heal him physically, Subaru's mental anguish remains beyond their reach. As Subaru and Rem attempt to return home, they are ambushed by the witch cult. Rem fights valiantly, but one of the attackers escapes with the battered Subaru. Now, Subaru finds himself chained and face to face with the deranged Sin Archbishop of Sloth, Betelgeuse Romanicanti, who cruelly taunts him for his supposed madness. Rem tracks down the cult's hideout and bravely confronts Betelgeuse. But her efforts are futile. She is tortured and left gravely injured, her limbs broken. With her last breaths, Rem uses her magic to free Subaru, urging him to live and confessing her love before passing away. Subaru, devastated, carries her lifeless body through the mansion, finding more bodies along the way. Outside, he encounters a monstrous Puck who, with a chilling command to sleep along with my daughter, decapitates Subaru. Back at the vendor's stall, Subaru once again curses Betelgeuse, trapped in an unending cycle of despair and death. Subaru, on a mission to protect the mansion and village from Betelgeuse's cult, turns to the royal candidates for support. His first stop is Krush, who coldly declines, seeing no gain in aiding a rival and deeming Subaru's plea as driven by madness. Next up, Priscilla, who requests for Subaru to lick her foot. Turns out to be a little bit of a harsh joke. But when Subaru, desperate for help, complies, Priscilla responds with a brutal kick and a reprimand for his lack of dedication to Amelia. Unfazed, Subaru then negotiates with Anastasia, only to be tricked into revealing information about Krush. Anastasia, with a smirk, walks away, leaving Subaru with a lesson that true negotiation is about understanding the other party's desires. With no hope from the candidates, Subaru resolves to return to the mansion and village with Rem to evacuate everyone. On their journey back, Otto's wagon is cloaked in fog, and Subaru encounters the dreaded white whale again, a creature that had previously altered their path. As the fog thickens, Subaru realizes a merchant has gone missing, but Otto is bafflingly oblivious to the disappearance. With the white whale bearing down on them, Rem makes a selfless choice, sacrificing herself to buy Subaru and Otto time to escape. After knocking Subaru out, she confronts the beast alone. When Subaru regains consciousness, Otto astonishingly has no recollection of Rem, realizing the white whale, being a mob beast, is irresistibly drawn to him. Subaru's predicament, as you could probably guess, worsens. Otto, with a grim determination, ejects Subaru from the wagon, leaving him on the brink of death. Subaru later discovers the abandoned wagon and is rescued by the ground dragon, continuing his journey alone. The next morning, he collapses upon finding the villagers, only to awaken at the mansion healed by Amelia. However, both Rem and Amelia have no memory of Rem's sacrifice. Driven by a mix of fury and desperation, Subaru attempts to unveil his return by death ability to Amelia, but as he speaks, the scene darkens and sinister hands emerge, leading to Amelia's tragic death in his arms. In a dramatic turn, Beatrice intervenes, teleporting Subaru and Amelia away just before Betelgeuse and his cult arrive, ready to destroy her. Enter the monstrous Puck, demanding retribution for what they plan to do to his daughter. In a heartbreaking turn of events, Puck, in his monstrous form, exacts brutal retribution on Betelgeuse and his cult, only to turn his cold fury on Subaru, freezing him as punishment for Amelia's death and shattering Puck's reason for existence. And it's a pretty cool scene. Subaru, mired in despair, resets once again at the vendor's stall. Rem notices a dramatic shift in Subaru's demeanor, and although he begs her to escape with him, she refuses, declaring she can only leave with the Subaru she truly knows. Overwhelmed by guilt and frustration over his perceived failures, Subaru laments his inability to protect those he cherishes. But through Rem's unwavering love and belief in him, Subaru finds a glimmer of hope. Her faith in him rekindles his resolve, driving him to rise from his sorrow and recommit himself to heroism. Determined to start over and face his challenges anew, Subaru sets his sights on beginning again from zero. Roll credits. With a heart brimming with renewed purpose. In this newly carved path, Subaru recalibrates his strategy, focusing on vanquishing the white whale before taking on the witch's cult. Leveraging his foreknowledge of the beast's attack, he brokers a pivotal alliance with Krush's camp, promising them a cut of the magic stones from the Roswell's domain in return for their help. Krush is convinced when Subaru uses his cell phone to provide irrefutable evidence of the whale's time and location, agreeing to the plan and allowing Subaru to draw the beast's attention. Anastasia's camp joins the efforts as well, recognizing the white whale's threat to her own interests. Krush is notably impressed by Subaru's adeptness at rallying support, and Wilhelm discloses his personal vendetta against the white whale, the very beast that claimed the life of his beloved wife, the sword saint, Teresia. The next day, Subaru and Rem, riding their steadfast ground dragon Patrish, lead the combined forces of Krush and Anastasia to the Flugel Tree, the designated battleground. As darkness envelops the land, the white whale emerges precisely as Subaru predicted, and the climactic battle, well, yeah. The battle against the white whale erupts with a dramatic flare as the Night Banisher casts an artificial daylight over the battlefield. Subaru and Rem skillfully bait the colossal beast while Krush and Anastasia's armies unleash a relentless assault. Wilhelm, the stalwart sword saint, engages the whale up close, striving to drag it down from the skies. Despite their efforts, the whale remains suspended and it begins spewing a nightmarish fog that erases existence itself. The dreaded fog of elimination. As the fog descends, chaos ensues. The armies overwhelmed, and Subaru shouts out his return by death, drawing the whale's fury to himself to protect the wounded. Wilhelm and Ricardo's unit fight valiantly but suffer grave losses. Wilhelm is swallowed whole, and Ricardo is grievously injured. As the mist begins to clear, the battlefield reveals a chilling sight. 3 white whales now loom ominously in the sky. In the wake of the white whale's ominous arrival, Subaru, alongside Krush, is faced with the grim reality of battling not 1, but 3 monstrous whales. Amidst the chaos, Subaru's keen eye catches the critical detail. 2 of these whales are mere doppelgangers of the true threat, which lingers in the distance. Determined to turn the tide, Subaru devises a daring plan. With Rem's help, he launches skyward on an ice shard, taunting the true whale and drawing it towards him and the towering Flugel Tree. As Subaru plummets, Rem expertly catches him, and the armies spring into action. They use a combination of magic and explosives to bring the Flugel Tree crashing down on the whale. Caught and immobilized, the whale is mercilessly struck down by Wilhelm, avenging his beloved Teresia and causing the other 2 whales to vanish. With the colossal threat subdued, Subaru refocuses on his mission, rescuing Amelia and the villagers from the clutches of the witch's cult. Then there is the Krush and Anastasia camps, moved by his heroism, provide additional soldiers and knights, including Wilhelm, Felix, and Pearl Baton's siblings. Now, as Subaru prepares for the next stage of his journey, he is startled to find Julius among Anastasia's reinforcements, adding a bit of drama to the quest. After a fiery exchange of insults, Subaru and Julius manage to patch things up eventually, forging a fragile alliance. Subaru's daring move against the witch's cult takes a bold turn when he uses his witch's scent to trick Betelgeuse into thinking he's the Archbishop of Pride. This ploy nearly works until Betelgeuse realizes Subaru lacks the gospel and loses his composure, setting the stage for a dramatic showdown. With Betelgeuse distracted, Mimi and Tivy launch a surprise assault on the hideout, leading to Betelgeuse's dramatic end at Wilhelm's sword. But the fight is far from over. The soul of Betelgeuse lingers in one of his fingers, unleashing unseen hands to deadly effect and capturing Subaru. And just when it seems Subaru's fate is sealed, Wilhelm swoops in to save him, taking down the finger in a climactic rescue. Racked with guilt over his critical mistake that led to the deaths of soldiers, Subaru is reassured by Wilhelm's counsel to persevere. Meanwhile, Otto and his merchant guild work to evacuate the mansion and the village, while Felix urges Subaru to mend fences with Julius. As Subaru approaches Julius, he is suddenly enveloped in a mysterious blue mist and finds himself alone, with Ram appearing on a cliff above holding a luminous blue flower, a symbol of hope and mystery in the midst of chaos. In a chilling twist of fate, Subaru finds himself engulfed by a blue mist under assault by nightmarish plants, only to be rescued by La, the tiny spirit Julius had set to safeguard him. With Julius freeing the entranced soldiers and merchants, Subaru's troubles only escalate when Ram, convinced he's abandoned Amelia, attacks him. Once the confusion clears, Subaru focuses on evacuating the villagers. Their mistrust is quelled by Ram's intervention, who persuades them to leave. The chaos intensifies when Felix exposes a merchant as a member of the witch's cult. In a desperate act of sabotage, the merchant self-destructs, leaving Subaru unconscious. Awakening to the grim reality of the village under attack, Subaru realizes that the Archbishop of Sloth's malevolent power can transfer to other fingers hidden among the merchants. As he confronts the final finger, Amelia arrives and swiftly defeats him. Yet the chaos continues as Law suddenly vanishes, sending Subaru into a panic and fleeing into the forest. Felix and Julius chase after him, only to find Subaru's body overtaken by Betelgeuse. In a heart-wrenching plea, Subaru, fighting against the possession, begs Felix and Julius to end his life. Reluctantly, Julius delivers the fatal blow, while Amelia, still in the village, hears a haunting sound echoing in the distance. After Subaru, hitting the reset button on his N64 once again, resets to the morning following the White Whale battle, he seizes the opportunity with newfound knowledge of the cult's possession tactics. He devises a bold new strategy: target the fingers before confronting Betelgeuse directly. Wilhelm stops by the mansion to clear up past misunderstandings and organizes the village evacuation. Disguised in a cloak to shield his true identity, Subaru warns Amelia of the imminent threat and persuades her to initiate the evacuation. To outwit the cult spies among the merchants, Subaru distributes an evacuation plan delayed by 2 hours, leading to the apprehension of the spy. Subaru then approaches Betelgeuse's hideout, feigning a willingness to join the cult and become a new vessel. He presents the Metia from the spy as a decoy gospel, setting off a surprise attack. As he flees, Betelgeuse and his remaining fingers chase him. Mimi and Tivy arrive to battle the fingers, while Subaru lures Betelgeuse to the bottom of a cliff he had once jumped off. Julius makes a dramatic entrance and engages Betelgeuse in combat, aided by Subaru's keen ability to see the unseen hands. In what can only be described as a true climax to this series, Julius battles the malevolent Betelgeuse using Subaru's unique ability to see the unseen hands through his own eyes. Betelgeuse, desperately trying to control Subaru's body once more, is thwarted when Subaru summons the power of Return by Death, confronting the spirit of Satella. This divine rejection of sorts causes Betelgeuse to lose his grip, retreat to his original vessel, and die. Rejoining the main group, Subaru learns that explosives are concealed in the wagon carrying Amelia and the children. With Otto's swift assistance, he races against time to avert disaster. And just when it seems the threat is vanquished, Betelgeuse re-emerges, his body unnervingly held together by the unseen hands. Subaru, showing remarkable resolve, sets Betelgeuse ablaze using Julius's spirit law, sealing the Archbishop's fate with the final words, "The End," written in his gospel book. Rushing to Amelia's wagon, Subaru uncovers the hidden explosives and, with the help of Patrish, hurls them into the remains of the White Whale at the base of the Flugel tree. The subsequent explosion is so big, it knocks Subaru unconscious, but protecting him with his dragon's shield. When Subaru regains consciousness, he finds himself in Amelia's lap. With heartfelt sincerity, he confesses his love and explains why he went to such lengths to save her. Amelia, moved to tears of joy, expresses her gratitude, acknowledging Subaru's selfless bravery and unwavering commitment. Their love, tested through trials, emerges radiant and unbreakable, or so it seems. Once again, everyone, pick up some gamer subs using my partner code, which will give you a discount. As well, check out my recap for ReZero Season 2 now to finally be fully caught up with ReZero for Season 3, which I will be covering weekly on the channel, so subscribe. Thanks for watching, bye-bye.